Don't know why everybody isn't here. But we're going for quality, not quantity, isn't that right? I was going to do something a little bit different at the beginning, partly because there's been a increased interest in me doing this. So the open houses, right? Some of you know I believe you ought to do them, right? And it's a good way to meet people. I'm oftentimes asked, how do I find an open house to do? And the easiest way is you go to Matrix Search. Let's see if I'm still logged in. And then active listings. And as you scroll down, there's add and remove fields. One of them is the listing office broker number. So the lowest hanging fruit is to find all the agents that have listings in this office and ask them if they need help with an open house. The next would be to find people from other Keller Williams offices that need help with an open house. And then after that would be to find agents that are not at Keller Williams that would like help with an open house. Right? How many of you have heard me talk about this before? So everybody that's been. And I was coaching somebody up in San Carlos, and she was interested in getting, she wanted to write up a contract in March, right? Wanted to have an escrow in March. And so she was calling for sale by owners and expireds. I don't know if you've ever done that. I have. It's a lot of fun, right? These are happy people, and they're glad to hear from real estate agents, right? They really are. And a lot of them, however, are not planning on doing anything in the near future. They're disappointed, they're unhappy, they're not going to do anything in the near future. So if you did an open house, another agent that I was coaching was doing open houses, and I helped her write an offer like 2 days after her open house. Right, I believe if you were doing open houses every weekend, your chances of writing up some business in March would go up. Right? I'm just saying that. Now, you need to add listing office broker code. For those of you, I'm going to be sending this video out to those that are in the coaching program, but one of the things that I've done to try to make this a little bit easier is, and I'll just show you how this was done. If you go over here to where it says go over here to where it says search, and notice it says office, and I'm going to right click it, open in a new tab, and it should be here. And if you type in, notice it says office name. If you type in Keller for Keller Williams, or KW, because some offices go by KW rather than Keller Williams, what you're going to find is all of the offices that have registered with our MLS that are in Keller Williams and or use KW in their name. Now the advantage of doing open houses for these people is your business cards and the for sale signs look a lot alike. And by the way, most people do not know the difference between Keller Williams Silicon City, Keller Williams Silicon Valley, Keller Williams Palo Alto, Keller Williams, who knows, who cares, right? Do you understand? And though I'm going to be sending this out to the people that are in the coaching program, but I've already had the list compiled. Those are all the broker codes for all of the KW or Keller Williams offices that operate in our area. So once you've dropped those in here, where it says listing office broker code, and you've clicked on active, and by the way, you could just start, here, let me just do this. You could just start with broker codes. There are 188 active listings from all those different broker codes. If you're saying, well, some of them are places I don't want to go, all right, how about SANT? This is what I get. Santa Clara. How many are in Santa Clara? 87 are in Santa Clara County. Right? So you could call those 87 agents and say, hey, would you like some help with an open house? right? And if you want to refine that, finding people that have had a listing for more than 30 days, believe me, the listing agent is tired of open houses. Right? I get tired after one Saturday. And then I did it on Saturday because the owner was there. After that, I don't do open houses. And if the owner hadn't been there on Saturday, I would not have been there on Saturday. Right? Do you understand? And by the way, I have a listing in Gilroy, price reduced, $698,888. Very lucky, right? Anyhow, it's a lucky number. So does everybody understand? You get that so far, right? Now, if you're saying, well, I've called all 87 and none of them want me to do an open house. Does everybody know how to find a listing that's been on the market more than a little bit? How about that? This will be fun. See where it says list date? You click on that little box and then this pops up. So today is the 8th. So let's go back a couple of weeks to, let's say, February 22nd. How about this? February 15th, March, I'm doing, how about over here? February 15th, and then I'm just going to go, and I'm going to now click on this, and that tells me all of them, there's 28 properties. They're listed by Keller Williams of some sort that have been on the market more than a few weeks. Yeah? I would think that those would be candidates to do an open house. Now, if you're saying, I called all those people and none of them wanted me to do an open house, they were all rude, they were all mean to me. So what we're going to do is look for active listings in, let's say, Santa Clara County, because you guys certainly don't want to have to drive very far. And then we're going to scroll down, and occupied by and showing instructions are things that you can add by clicking on the add or remove. You can add showing instructions, and you also can add occupied by. Now, I happen to know that vacant listings, of which there's only 417 in Santa Clara County, are most likely to have people that don't want to do the open house, right? Because they're vacant. You don't even have to talk to the seller. And do you remember how we could find ones that have been on the market for a long time? You go over there, you go back a month. Do you understand you're going to find hundreds of vacant listings, been on the market a while, listing agent is tired of doing open houses. You could call them and offer to do an open house, right? Does everybody see that, right? The other thing, which I printed out, but I will email it with you guys, is when I do this is it's called Mike's Open House Script. And including my home buying strategy close, all of which, no extra charge, just for showing up.
Any questions?
Any questions about that?
That was your home buying close.
Yeah, home buying, that's how you get people to sign a contract. All right, so was that cool?